signs that a girl is losing interest in you.
Signs
On the
that she
shitty end of
is
this, I'm
losing
very
interest.
sorry,
These are
but
things girls do when they're losing interest.
Guys,
Did you love me or not? Come on, lie to me and tell me you did. Let me feel like the piece of shit I am. Did you love me or not? Answer me!
I don't love you anymore. I don't love you anymore.
I don't love you anymore, Jordan.
I don't love you.
And maybe she didn't say these words, but her actions showed you this. For those men that have felt that pain, understand that maybe she never loved you at all. Maybe it was more codependence. You deserve to have a woman that loves you unconditionally, if that's even possible for a man to find these days. Focus that pain into something, and I promise you, you will be great.
Every boy needs a real name.
Dying for the right cause is the most human thing we can do.
Got her name? Right? Joe.
Maybe we'll be satisfied with your
Welcome, my friends, to Antoine Phoenix, my RP experience. Yes, I changed the name. I finally decided on a name because I wanted to use my name, but at the same time, I started building an audience with what I was using before. So I didn't want it to be a issue, but that's another reason why I put what I put on my video, so you guys will be able to tell that it's me. And I'm not one of those that always want to put my face right there, because to me personally, I feel like it takes away from the thumbnail I'm trying to put out. But anyway, that's just me. Everybody else, uh, that seems to be working for, but I want to try something different. I like to be different. I don't like to always follow the crowd. I might try it one time, and then if I'm not feeling it, I'll do my own thing. Today's video is going to be about a celebrity and his marriage. Well, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and say, because I won't be able to put that in the title, because for some reason when you put specific people's names in the title, probably because of what some people be doing, bashing people online, uh, YouTube will kind of not let it get out there. Maybe that's the right thing, because a lot of people will use it the wrong kind of way. But these videos I always try to use as an educational tool. I don't want to really pit people down or either hurt their feelings. That's why I do not attack how people look, because I used to go through that when I was younger, so I'm not going to do that to somebody else. But Tyrese and his ex-wife, what's her name? I'm about to say Sarah Lee. Anyway, I know she's a dating coach, and when I was making that video about celebrating or giving homage to the people in the manosphere, especially Coach Greg Adams, I thought about mentioning her, but in a negative way. But however, though, I just want to mention the positive people and not paying more light on her, because while she's saying the right things on video, this is why you gotta watch out with women and men as well, saying the right things on video and not living that life. So she's saying things that how men can be better, and how women are this and that and what you should look out for. Meanwhile, she's dragging Tyrese through divorce court. And even though that's mostly the lawyer's doing. Still, though, she could put the kibosh on it. I mean, she's an old enough woman. She could do that if she wanted to. And this is how sometimes I think a relationship can get to the point of no repair. Anyway, she made a video and he made a video. But I'm going to play his video first, and then I'm going to play her video of how she feels about things now, after years after the divorce, or either a year after. When did they get divorced? Anyway, let Tyrese talk.
I don't know who she is. I don't know who she became. I realized that this was a woman that was very simple, who I met in a $12 sundress and prided herself on being simple. And I don't care about money, stars, celebrities. I don't need to live and be around. I'm a simple girl. Now you want $20,000 a month for a 1-year-old? Now you've hired 3 law firms to try and knock my motherfucking head off. I did nothing to you to create that. Like, you should be able to say physical violence, I got 3 chicks pregnant on the side, and love child, and I was on the road and smashing chicks on, like, what did I do that made you become that? Everybody's got problems. Everybody go through shit. But I cannot sit here right now as a man to pull out my human calculator and say, I'm divorced, and I know why. I don't know who she is. I don't know.
That statement was powerful, and I related to it completely. Completely. I know that happened in my marriage, and not just my marriage, but in some of my other relationships. At the very beginning, money didn't matter. We can have a picnic. We can just, all those things doesn't matter. We can just have fun and make the best of it. And of course, though, I know over time people change, and that's the thing, people change. And not to say that any of them turned totally materialistic, but the things that they were saying before started to run counter to how they were acting now. And maybe in my ex-wife's case, she started to get frustrated because we were still struggling, and we didn't have certain things. And of course, those people in her ear, there's always people in your woman's ear, whether it's men, women, family, that can tear your family apart. And that's another reason why I started definitely, like, well, it kind of came into my mind, it might be better to date out, because at least then we are already starting with people being against us. So if she can withstand that right there, because I know I can, if she can withstand that right there, then we can go far. But I was wrong. It just takes longer for it to happen. I still think that's still a stronger thing. Some people will disagree because they'll probably say it's better to get with people that's kind of like you. But as I will say, I did not always fit into the groups that I came around. I could always morph and somewhat seem like I fit in, but I usually never felt like I fit in totally with a group. It was just with individuals. That's why I only had a few best friends and things like that. And it's not like I had like a chain of women that I was always hanging with, even though I have a lot of women associates. But that's like a smokescreen. That's just to kind of warn women, like, hey, I know you know a lot of dudes, but I know a lot of women. But I'm not smashing them. I'm not always around them. Yeah. So anyway, Tyrese's wife has something to say months or some years later after she did what she did. So let's listen what she got to say.
If I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No, I wouldn't. And that's the truth. I try my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment. Because I think that I was, women, we're like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that like, okay, I feel so strong, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like we're a lot, not all of us, right? But some of us are. Just like a lot of men can be like that. But I know women specifically, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I can't stand this. He don't do this. He don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. And we're just focusing on these things. And because you don't have a certain person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about this? What about these strengths? What about what he's not doing? What, like those types of things. That can get you thinking about the positive aspects of this person that you may not be thinking about when you're upset. You're only thinking about what you're mad about. You're not thinking about all the other positive aspects of this person. And so in those moments, you need somebody to be the person for that person.
Yeah.
In those moments.
Do I hear regret in her voice? Yeah. See, and that's the one thing I hate about women. And I guess that's how y'all are made, because y'all are social creatures. Y'all let too many people or the wrong people influence your thoughts, your actions, in your relationships. I mean, it's really sad. And I didn't know how to approach that when I was going through that in some of my past relationships. I always usually tried to be stoic and ignore it. And it just got bigger and bigger. And were some of those gripes correct? Because I'm not a perfect person? Sure it was. But same thing like with Tyrese said. Like, you know, both of us has certain things that we are not. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure if he said that now. But both of us has certain things that we are failing at, that we could do better. But we're not going to do that if we have people chirping in our ears saying like, oh, you're great, they're wrong, they need to do this, they need to do that. I always think when you're in a relationship with somebody for a significant amount of time, is things that both of you need to do. Maybe me as a man, maybe I need to communicate better. Maybe she needs to care a little bit more about how I feel about things. There's always certain things that need to be said. But unfortunately, people that's on the outside, especially on her side, they're not there to help her put it together. Maybe her mom, maybe, because moms can sometimes be the worst with advising their daughters on their relationship. But, however, if it's any person that should have somewhat positive influence, it should be a mom or maybe a sister, maybe. You know, once again, this is a case-by-case basis, but I don't think a lot of women have people in their life that will tell them to say, like, hey, I know he's fucking up, but you're fucking up in this kind of way. You guys are good together. I remember when you guys first got together. You two just need to try harder. Anyway, she has some more to say, so let's hear that.
My child's father. I have a lot of respect for him. There will always be a part of me that will love him because of like what we share together. And the child that I look at every day, like she looks like him, you know, she looks like us, and like, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just beautiful.
That is something. Are you now in the spirit of potentially even being able to rekindle a relationship like?
Oh my gosh, you just asked me this. Can we get an edit?
Is that a hard question?
It is. It's loaded because of the fact that there's been so much that's happened, you know, like there's been so much that's occurred. Okay. It's my daughter's father. So I would say this. I would say that if we were both going to show up and we were both going to fight for it equally and sacrifice equally. Like, you know, things that I needed and, you know, things that, you know, he needed. I wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Your girl ain't perfect. So I would say that if we were both willing to fight and we were both willing to do certain things, then yes.
Something about that actually makes me very happy.
No, I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know why.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if it's my child, like, you know, no one wants a broken family.
No, that's exactly, that's what it is for me.
Yeah, like, if it was something that it was like, if it was a situation, you have to hear me, sir, excuse me, you have to hear me all the way. You have to hear me all the way.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's my child's father. I have a lot of.
I give her credit. She at least admitted that she has faults. I rarely ever hear women admit that they have faults, especially when they're talking about their man or what went wrong in their relationship. It's always the dude's fault. Now, it could have been something that he did to put the nail in the coffin, like in my case. And like my case does not compare to theirs because, well, I did something to make her really, I guess, not trust me anymore, which I did not do it intentionally. And as I say, it was a legal matter that I got her into like trouble with, and I didn't know that was going to happen. But as I will say, even though I did that, it was things up to it that was both of us, but she was really getting out of control. And if I didn't have those ties, like being married, she has a kid, I definitely probably would have left. Now, but then again, she probably wouldn't have acted that way if she didn't have that type of leverage. And that's the thing too. I almost think of this of any gender. I just think men get held a little bit more accountable if they have leverage and they take advantage of it. But when women have like that leverage power that they can just take the kid and leave or just start acting any kind of way, and if you decide to leave, you're taking a severe loss. I mean, that's going to keep the guy kind of like, well, it's cheaper to keep her type of mentality. And meanwhile, she's going to be like, well, hey, I already did all my work. I can go buck wild now. And even though she's saying that, I don't see a reason why she probably wouldn't relapse and do the same things that she did before. Not that he wouldn't, but the same things of like listening to the wrong people. So I think she has one more thing to say, and then I'm going to cut this video.
It's affected me more, her not having her father like in the house like that. It's affected me more seeing her used to something I didn't want her to get used to. Didn't want her to get used to. You know, I was raised in a divorced home, and it was a high conflict divorce. And I didn't want that for her. So I think it's harder for me because I made the decision. You know, I made that decision. And gosh.
Take your time.
You know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think people understand, like, how, like, when you see a child, like, and she has a father, and I have a really great relationship with my dad. I have a great relationship with my stepdad. I have great relationships with the men in my life. And, you know, I always wanted for her to have that relationship, and she does. Her father loves her. You know, we've been able to go to like everything that's ever needed, like for her, like medically and things like that. If he needs to show up to, you know, a doctor's appointment, he'll go, things like that. But you know, it's hard. You know, it's a hard process to, you know, I would love for us to come to a place of peace for sure.
Wow. Yeah, and that always gets me when a woman starts to get like emotional like that. But once again, it's one of those things of like in the moment right now she feels bad, but then when she's doing those things to you, stepping on your heart, crushing you, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. I would tell Tyrese, yeah, it's a wrap. Don't go back to her. I I mean, I considered times in the past of getting my family back together, but it's been so much just said and done that on both sides. I'm not angel here, but at least I can admit that what I did wrong and how I would try not to do certain things. But, however, I'm pretty sure in her case, she feels like she did nothing wrong. She's always right. And uh and she's on a totally different thing right now anyway. So that chapter is closed. And if anything, I feel sad for my daughter. That's the only thing with the Jeezy thing. I mean, I credit him for getting out of the relationship early. Huh. See, ladies, he graduated from marriage with a divorce. You know, kudos to him. The only thing, though, he did it after he had a kid. Now, of course, though, he has enough money that it won't be too much of an impact, but still, he'll still have to deal with her. And then he has a child another child that's going to grow up without him being there. And what kind of men is she going to probably go for when she gets older? Shit. I'll probably have the same problem. So, you know, look, it is what it is. Because of how shaky marriage is, because both men and women don't seem to always act right when they get inside that union. The women don't uphold the vows that they take, and the men don't always follow through what they need to follow through. So until we start having a class on how to be married or being in a relationship with the other gender, yeah, I think marriages should kind of stop right now. Probably kids too, but of course, though, people like that sexual gratification thing. But I will say definitely for the kids, at least pick your partner better, and a partner that's not just going to be good in the beginning, good when it's all having fun, but that person that when it gets difficult and hard, that they won't just throw you under the bus, that they won't threaten you bodily harm, that they won't say the most nastiest hurtful things and then expect you to forget about it or get over it. That goes for both the men and the women, because both of them do it. On my side, is usually the woman that's done it, that's doing it. Because I'm more of a responder. I won't initiate. I might get frustrated with somebody, but I'm not going to call them stupid. I'm not going to say that you are a piece of shit. I'm not going to start making fun of them. Meanwhile, she'll probably do that to me. So, yeah, I know definitely now to not pay attention to the good stuff that just happens in the beginning of the relationship and pay attention to those small things that they do. That's probably going to be an issue later. So, anyway, that's it. You guys give me a like, a subscribe, and also comment on this video if you have any thoughts and opinions. And have a good day. God bless everybody.
I believe a man can love a woman unconditionally, but I don't think a woman can love a man unconditionally.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think it's the other way around.
No.
I think a woman can love a man unconditionally, and
Not
men.
Not forever.
You don't think so?
No.
Damn.
No. I think when a man loves a woman for real, like, he'll love her forever.